Welcome to Chop Chop Culinary Skills Training Video Series. I'm Therese Allen, author of The Flavor of Wisconsin for Kids.
And I'm Susan Peterman, seasoned nutrition consultant and retired director of school nutrition for Middleton School District.
In this video training series, we'll show you how to use Wisconsin-grown fruits and vegetables in your school meal programs. Serving these local foods to your students is a win-win for child nutrition and local farmers.
We are all searching for ways to serve fresher, more interesting menus for students. Wisconsin-grown vegetables and fruits look, smell, and taste appealing, and with a few helpful techniques can easily be added to your lunch line.
This short training will demonstrate simple skills and recipes to create delicious meals made with local products that your students will love to eat.
Chop chop, let's head to the kitchen. Today we are going to learn about the use of whole grains in product preparation. Using these easy techniques will help you incorporate more whole grain recipes into your menu. Delicious, healthful whole grains can be served as side dishes or breakfast cereals, but some students may be somewhat unfamiliar. A great way to get students to go for whole grains is to incorporate them into foods that students always love, like pizza and muffins. Today we'll be doing two demonstrations. First, we'll be making whole wheat pizza dough, which will feature whole grains in a yeast-based product. For the second demonstration, we'll be making blueberry oat muffins, a quick bread product that yields good nutrition and great flavor in a form that students really go for. Exactly what are whole grains and why are they important? Whole grains are the intact seeds or kernels of the plant, and unlike refined grains, they contain the bran, germ, and endosperm. Processing removes the bran and germ in refined grains, leaving only the endosperm. Since whole grains contain all three parts of the kernel, they retain a variety of excellent nutrients. Some examples of whole grains include whole wheat, oats, whole grain cornmeal, brown rice, wild rice, whole grain barley, and quinoa. Consuming whole grains as part of a healthy diet has been shown to reduce the risk of obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and several types of cancer. The nutrition standards for the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs require that all grains offered must be whole grain rich. Whole grain rich products must contain at least 50% whole grains. It's easier than you think to incorporate whole grains into your menu. In many recipes, you can simply substitute whole grains for refined. For example, you can substitute whole wheat flour in foods like pancakes, muffins, breads, and all other flour-based recipes. Keep in mind though, it's often better to replace some, not all, of the refined flour with whole grains. Replacing white flour with whole grain flour in a 1-to-1 ratio will make a denser or heavier product than the original recipe. There are many school-focused recipes available online that you can use, or you can try out your own recipes. Just remember that it'll take some experimentation to determine a ratio that produces a desirable taste and texture for students. You may need to adjust the amount of liquid, leavening, and fat used in your recipe. We'll be demonstrating two approaches to whole wheat baking products. Let's begin with the whole wheat pizza dough. The whole wheat pizza dough we're making uses a mix of white and whole wheat flour. By using more whole wheat flour than white flour in the mix, we'll produce a product that is at least 50% whole grain rich. First, we'll activate our yeast. Proper yeast activation is the most important step to ensure a high-quality yeast spread. The best technique for dissolving and activating your yeast is to use a thermometer to measure the water, making sure that it is between 100 and 115 degrees. We'll add a small amount of honey to give the yeast something to grow with, and then we'll add our active, dry, granulated yeast. We'll mix well, and when all the yeast is dissolved, we'll set it aside. We'll wait 15 to 20 minutes, and the mixture will begin to bubble. This is a good sign that you'll have a quality base to begin your yeast spread. While the dry yeast is being activated in the warm water honey mixture, I'm going to mix the two flours together. Mixing these dry ingredients together first will ensure an even distribution as we go through the process. So I'm blending this slowly by hand. This could also be done in your commercial mixer. In the stand mixer, we have our activated yeast mixture ready to go. We're going to turn the mixer on and slowly add the dry mixture. When the blending is complete and all flour is incorporated into the liquid, we'll use the dough hook on this commercial mixer to mechanically knead the dough. Kneading dough takes approximately 10 minutes until it comes together in a soft ball, but is not too sticky. Be careful not to over-knead the dough, as this produces a dry and tough end product. If you plan on freezing your dough for later use, remove it from the mixer bowl by scraping it out with a bench scraper onto a lightly floured surface. We'll divide the dough into 2 single pizza crust portions. Each pizza crust portion provides about 20 student servings. Now dust each portion lightly with flour and tightly wrap with commercial film, ensuring the product is completely covered. Store in a container or a plastic freezer bag for up to 6 months. As in all frozen storage, the products must be protected from air to prevent freezer burn. Using the frozen dough could not be easier. Transfer the number of dough portions that you need from the freezer, remove any packaging, place on a sheet pan, and again cover very carefully with commercial film to seal out air, but allow enough space for the dough to expand as it thaws. We would thaw at least 24 hours in the cooler before we plan on using. When you are ready to begin pizza preparation, bring the dough out of the refrigerator to the countertop. Let it rest before stretching. It is ready when you can press your finger into the dough and it leaves an imprint. Depending on the temperature of your kitchen, this can take up to 2 hours. Now, using oiled hands, shape the dough into a flat disc. And then begin to stretch from the center out, pushing the dough. A rolling pin will make this oval larger. The rectangles should be large enough to fit 1 full sheet pan, which is 18 by 26 inches. If the dough seems resistant to stretching, let it rest 5 to 10 minutes and try again. Coat 1 full sheet pan with cooking spray. Then sprinkle lightly with about 1/4 cup of whole cornmeal. Now we can lift the dough and place it in the pan. You may have to reshape slightly after you do this. The rectangles should be large enough to fit 1 full sheet pan. Now you have a basic whole grain dough that can be used in many ways. You can use it for stromboli or calzones. You could top the dough with some oil and garlic to make a homemade breadstick, or top it with mozzarella cheese for that all-time student favorite, cheese sticks. Today we are going to use it to make a delicious pizza by topping it with the vegetable ratatouille we made in our Chop Chop video on tomatoes and peppers. If you don't want to make your own sauce, any ready-to-use sauce will work. We'll just spread our sauce out evenly. And And we'll add some shredded cheese. It's important to remember that these bread products need a hot, dry heat for best results. Therefore, you'll want to bake the pizza at 450 degrees until the crust is light brown and the cheese is bubbly, usually about 15 to 18 minutes. And here we have our completed school pizza. Doesn't it look wonderful? Let's move on to the recipe for blueberry oat muffins. We'll mix white whole wheat flour with oats to create a whole grain rich product. The heartier taste and texture of whole wheat flour and oats compared to white flour and instant oatmeal may be unfamiliar to students, but by mixing the grains, you can produce a taste and texture that will be more delicious and acceptable to students. Muffins are very popular with students. They're quick to prepare and they require only simple preparation techniques. You can make muffins with ingredients commonly found in most kitchens. Our recipe is especially cost-effective as it uses several foods that are available through the USDA Foods Program. Additionally, our recipe uses white whole wheat flour. This type of flour is a good replacement for all-purpose flour as it retains the health benefits of whole wheat but yields a texture and flavor more similar to white flour. Muffins are in a category of baked goods called quick breads. While the quick bread technique is simple, there are a few important rules. First, you must mix the dry and the wet ingredients separately. This ensures that the ingredients will be evenly distributed and will yield consistent texture and flavor. Combine dry ingredients well so that the baking powder and baking soda, these are the leavening agents, are well distributed, ensuring your muffins will rise evenly and be flaky and tender. Second, when you combine the wet and dry ingredients, take care not to over or under mix. Over mixing will result in tough and dry products, while under mixing results in inconsistent batches. Add the dry ingredients to the wet and mix only until all ingredients are moistened. Always incorporate the blueberries by hand with the spatula. This allows the fruit to remain mostly whole within the finished muffin. Here we have a standard muffin pan. We're going to spray the pan well with standard cooking spray. Then I'm going to portion the muffin batter using a number 20 scoop. These will bake in a preheated oven at 375 for about 16 to 20 minutes. Let the muffins cool for about 10 minutes on the cooling rack. Then tap them out onto a clean kitchen towel to finish the cooling process. If a larger muffin is desired, you could use a number 12 or a number 16 scoop, but they will take somewhat longer to bake. The batter could also be baked in a sheet pan and cut into squares. While muffins are best if made fresh for service, that just may not always be possible. These muffins may be made in advance and fully cooled, then placed in a Cambro container with sheet liners between the layers. You may freeze for up to 3 months, and when ready to use, thaw overnight in your refrigerator. Keep in mind that you could modify the recipe and incorporate other Wisconsin-grown products like these cranberries. This muffin is very versatile and can be used in your breakfast program and served as a grain-based side in your school lunch. It credits for 1 grains bread in the school meal pattern. Additionally, it also meets Smart Snack guidelines for a side. Keep in mind, if you adjust the serving size, it may no longer meet the Smart Snack guidelines. Thank you for joining us to learn about whole grains. We think you'll enjoy incorporating more whole grain recipes into your school meals. And we know your students will enjoy eating the tasty, wholesome treats you create. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about using local Wisconsin products in your school menus. Please complete the short survey. Your feedback helps us support you as we meet evolving nutrition standards.
Have fun introducing these delicious whole grains and Wisconsin fruits and vegetables into your school meal program. The complete video training series and other Farm to School resources are available on the CIAS website. Thank you again to our sponsors at USDA, Team Nutrition, Organic Valley, and NutriSlice, who made these videos possible.
The Chop Chop Training Series is a partnership of CESA Purchasing, the Center for Integrated Agricultural Systems, and the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction.